Hey traders, Mike Sir here. Welcome to my weekly live stream series on trading psychology and how you can improve your trader mindset for trading success. So today we are going to talk about one big trade. And what do I mean by that? Am I going to teach you how to find that one big trade? No, I'm actually going to be helping you in regards to your preparation in terms of looking for that one big trade. And when you're in the middle of one big trade, being able to be very, very calm, being able to execute, and essentially having the right mindset to look for and capture that one big trade, which we've all hopefully try to do on a consistent basis. So let's get started. All right. So just before we get started, today's sponsor just want to let you guys know if you are interested in working with me and you like what I've been teaching you in terms of sharing all the videos. I have a stock trader development program. Um, Basically, it is open to enrollment right now. So all you need to do is go to mikesirtrader.com/program. All right, let's get into it. So in terms of the one big trade, so I've been very, very fortunate to have hit a few big trades in my career. And what is the process that you need to go through in terms of capturing that one big trade? And also, been very, very fortunate if you have watched or read my book in terms of becoming a millionaire trader. I've trained several students who have become millionaires through trading. So what I found out in terms of going through that process, it's not really just about finding a really good opportunity because opportunities come in on the day-to-day basis. There are literally big trades every single day in the market, and your job is obviously to try to capture it, right? Now, it's easy said than done. You could basically do all your chart analysis, you can do all your fundamental research, and basically when that trade comes to you, you kind of freeze, or you don't trust yourself in terms of the opportunity, and you let that one big trade bypass. So obviously, one big trade that came just recently, just in the past 2 years, obviously is the 2020 COVID pandemic lows in the market. And you could also say another one big trade was at the beginning of this year when the markets basically started stopped going up and started going lower. So there's so many ideas out there. It's not really about the idea. It's not really about the opportunity, which is, but it's really when you are talking about being able to capture that one big trade, it's actually here. It's you mentally being prepared for that. So what I want to do in terms of today's live stream is go through three key things that you need to prepare yourself in terms before you actually are able to execute on that one big trade. So three key things that I kind of talked about here is three mental keys: preparation, patience, and pressure. Okay. So I'm going to first of all talk a little bit about preparation. So whenever you are looking for that one big trade, it's not just about, okay, you did your analysis, you did your research. It's about being mentally ready for that one big trade. So obviously the first goal is have a thesis in terms of the idea. What type of that one big trade are you looking for? Are you looking for maybe perhaps since the market has really gone down sharply, is that the market will go back up? Well, you have a thesis, you prepare your technicals, you prepare your fundamental research, and perhaps and you look for a certain opportunity. But what once you kind of planned all that out, um, what gives you that conviction? What gives you that um, decision to be aggressive on that one big trade and literally be able to make a lot of profits from that? And what I will always say is that you need to be prepared. And not just prepared, you need to be super prepared. You need to be fully immersed in terms of your thesis. So do as much research as possible on the opportunity. Do as much technical analysis. Do enough your fundamental analysis. Try to backtest. Try to look for certain things that will support your thesis. So, for example, if I said to you, or if your idea was, I think that the market's going to rebound from now until the end of the year, back it by your chart analysis, back it by the research that you're doing, and then prepare what exactly you're going to be trading to be able to take advantage of this move back up in the markets. What type of trading instrument will you be using? What type of risk are you going to be exposing yourself to? And what's your profit target, right? All these things. So prepare mentally, and also in terms of your prices, right? Where do you enter? Where do you exit? Where do you put your stop loss? All that type of stuff. Basically, fully prepare yourself on exactly the idea or the thesis that you're looking for. And if you start seeing things go according to your plan, how can you uh, take advantage of that so that when the opportunity does come, you'll be able to no problem execute that, put on those trades. So number one thing is really be prepared. And just speaking from my experiences and speaking to my students who have captured those one big trades, is essentially they're in the zone. They're mentally prepared. They have their trade plans ready. They have everything ready, and all we really need to do is just basically execute on their ideas. All right. So preparation, I cannot stress that enough. Just in terms of your trade preparation and also in terms of your mental preparation, that you think that this trade will be that one big trade. And if the trade doesn't work out in terms of not being your one big trade, that's fine. Just basically go through the same process again and look through, do all your due diligence again and again, essentially look for that next one big trade. Now, the second thing is patience. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Many people want to, after maybe perhaps listen to this webinar, or you do your research and you say, oh, this is the next one big trade and I'm going to basically go hard. Well, it's not necessary that that's the case, right? You need to be patient and waiting for those ideal scenarios where something big does happen, and you prepare for it. So there's a couple ways that you can think about it. Is you can essentially look at this as, I'm going to pre-plan everything, and I'm going to essentially, this is kind of like my checklist for that one big trade scenario. So when those scenarios happen and you start checking box after box that this scenario is happening, then you can execute on that. So that's basically preparing everything in advance and then patiently waiting for these type of scenarios to happen. Okay, so it could be a technical level. It could be a major support level broken down that you can short the market, or there could be major resistance levels where you can see the market go higher. So you can look at that, or what you can do is essentially patiently wait for some market moving event. So as we all know, a couple really bad scenarios have happened just in the past few years. We obviously have COVID pandemic. That was a big market moving event. Then you had the Ukraine-Russian war, again, big event. You also had inflation fears, right? You had especially on this past Wednesday, we had that huge U.S. Federal Reserve rate hike and continuation of further rate hikes, which again led the market to go sharply lower in just the past few days. So those are market moving events that happen. And then what you need to do if you're looking for that one big trade is execute based on what the market is telling you. So all those type of scenarios are very negative. So the market's obviously going lower. So what can you do to capture that movement on the way down? So that's one aspect where you can see, hey, this is that one big trade, and how can I capture the markets when they're going lower? So patience, right? Patience, waiting for either the checklist of the opportunity that comes up or some major event that comes and you are able to continue riding that momentum up or down. All right. Again, if you guys have any questions, please type them in the question box, chat box, and I will be able to answer them at this session. And the last thing, all right, is pressure. So what I mean by pressure is, have you had a scenario where you plan everything? And again, this has happened to me before multiple times. You plan everything and everything kind of starts checking, you have your checkbox, everything already, and then you start to doubt yourself. You start to say, well, maybe this is not really that one big trade. Maybe that opportunity what is not that good. And then you say, or you basically are not attentive at that time, or you're just not focused, whatever reason, that pressure that you have to basically execute on the plan that you have, or knowing that this potential is a big trade, uh, basically that pressure suddenly lessens, and you say, oh, you know what, this probably this trade might not work out, and then lo and behold, you miss it, right? I've had so many people message me during the pandemic and say, well, this market is going lower. Do you think it's going to go, do you think it's going to go up? Well, I don't know, right? But a lot of people said, "Oh, you know what? This pandemic is probably going to go on, planning to go on forever, and I'll just basically, this is not a good opportunity." And lo and behold, after a year, then they start coming back to me and saying, "Well, is it still too late to get in?" Right? So it's a scenario where when you identify something, you have to execute on it, okay? Or you have to put a plan in place to execute on that. So when these opportunities come, and basically that's by taking action. For those people who take action, they see a certain time period in the market where markets either go sharply lower or go sharply higher. If you just miss that one point, right, that inflection point, that could change your life, right, in terms of profits. Um, and also, I had a lot of students also at the beginning of this year is, do you think the market's going to continue higher? Well, or they start saying, well, the markets are quite overbought right now. There's lots of inflation scenarios. There's, potential for market to go lower. But because they don't, they read a lot of things in the media thinking that the markets, basically have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And the market keeps going higher. And you say, oh, probably market's not going to go lower. And lo and behold, the markets have gone down very, very sharply. And in fact, January of this year was the peak in the market. That was actually where the market made all-time highs, and we have never gotten back to those levels. So the third thing, right, is for you to take action, that pressure to take action when you have certain ideas, certain thoughts in your mind, thinking that this is the trade, but because you don't execute on it, then you miss out on that great opportunity. Now, these are the three key things, and obviously, if you guys, I'm going to essentially put some series together, um, in terms of helping you find those big trades, and you can see all the videos that I produced, on some very, very successful traders who made billions or millions, is they are essentially aligned with that one big trade, right? That one big trade where they made millions and billions, basically changed their entire life, right? Made them legendary status on Wall Street, or made them a legendary trader. So how can you, learn from that? And what I would suggest you guys do is watch those videos again. And, obviously I document in terms of their technical or their trades, in terms of how they do it. But think about their psychological mindset. I mean, a scenario where I was documenting George Soros, right? The trader who bet on the fall of the British pound. He made $1 billion on it. He had a quote where his right hand man said, "Oh, you know what? You're up. I can't remember at that time, a couple hundred million. Maybe we should take profits." Well, he said, in his quote is, if it's going in your favor, why would you take profits that early? Right? So if you have a conviction that it can go further in your favor, then why would you want to exit early? So that's also that conviction, that preparation, and that's really how some of these traders separate themselves from other traders, is that they have this conviction. They feel that there is this one particular, or one or multiple big trades that come a few times in their lifetime or a few times a year, that they are able to capture it. And hence, that's why they are different from many other traders who may not have as much success, or in some sense have much greater trading record success, but not the financial success that a lot of these traders have, just because they clearly did not identify some big opportunities in the market and bet heavily. And hence that's why some of these guys didn't make as much money as some of the guys who have, right? All right, so I'm going to take some questions here. If you guys have any questions about the mental aspect of capturing one big trades, please type the question box, and I'll be able to answer them. All right. All right. So, okay. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Richard. And hey, Adis and Moses. Right. Hello to you guys. All right, so I got a question from WebCoin. I think it helps to not necessarily use big size on your big trade idea. This allows you to have some wins, and then you can grow while not risking it all in case of a failure in timing. Yeah. So I just want to clarify, when I mean by one big trade is you're not just essentially, let's just say you have no success at all and suddenly you're just looking for that one big trade, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that definitely you have to have consistency first. If you never made $1, why would you want to risk $100, right? If you've never made $10,000, why would you want to risk $10,000, right? For example. So this is a scenario where you've had some consistency and you want to take your trading to the next level. Okay, I've worked with traders who have consistency making, let's say, a few $1,000s every month. Now they want to make 10,000, right? So in order to make 10,000, they need to up their game, right? Or or some traders who have been making 100,000 very, very consistently, they want to take it to the next level where they are making millions. So in order to do that, not just in terms of just increasing your size, is you do have to look for bigger trade ideas and to obviously be more aggressive in terms of the size that you're playing. So I agree with what you're saying. Webcoin is not here to tell you don't just basically risk a lot, and because the trades that you risk a lot, if they don't work out, your principal is going to slowly decline, right? What I'm saying to you guys is that you have some consistency, you have some profits to play with, you have some profits to be able to risk, and you want to basically take your trading to the next level. Then these are the ideas that I'm kind of sharing with you. Now, if you're just looking for consistency, you're not looking for a big jump in terms of your trading profits. You're just looking for consistency. Yeah, then you just keep doing what you're doing. Uh, this live stream is made for those guys. You have consistency. You want to take it to the next level. These are the ideas. These are the mental frame of mind that you need to have in order to take your trading to the next level. All right, hola. Dennis, your human acknowledgement and pain threshold will be tested, thus sitting on your hands will be the best strategy. After all preparations are done, close the screen and walk away from the screen. Yeah. So I will share with you a story. I had a student who has made millions in trading, and this is exactly what he did. he actually, um, when he was looking for these big trades, he had preset all the trades that he was planning to make. And he was actually, essentially at that time, still had a full-time job. So during the day, he couldn't watch the markets. So what he did, set all the pending orders, put your stop loss, and what he would do is check in with his trades once a day to see whether they were working. If they're working, move his stop loss to break even, basically risk free, and essentially all the trades that he had put pending, all executed according to his plan, and lo and behold, he made an incredible amount of profits on those trades. So as I said to you, and I said many things and this is reason why I have these trading psychology series, is we are our worst enemy, right? We are our biggest barrier to success. We, right? Us. It's not the market. It's not the lack of opportunities. It's not lack of trading experience. It's not just those things. It's us, because we fear, right? We have fear. We have greed, right? Where fear of us taking a trade because we fear of losing money. Greed, we don't take profits. We want to make more, and then hence we lose money, right? In that instance, or revenge trading, right? Many things basically because of human emotions. Now, is it always the right way where you essentially don't watch the market and you just basically close the computer and let the trade work out in your favor? Yes, you can do that, but what I will say is that there are certain time periods where you see an opportunity over and over and over and over again, but you don't execute, or you don't, first of all, you don't execute, or you play so small size. It's just like, for example, when you see money on the ground, do you just kind of slowly pick it up a little bit by bit? Yes, you can do that. If your goal is just pick a little bit, right? You're not looking for big profits, that's fine. But when there are opportunities where there is money on the ground, okay, and let's just say money isn't on the ground all the time, right? Because you can't spot those opportunities. Do you just bit by bit, right? You don't. You basically try to capture as much as possible, right? Especially if you want to take your trading profits to the next level, because that opportunity doesn't last that long, right? For example, with the pandemic, there was a time period at basically March 2020 that was the low in the market, and you were just slowly, buying. Yes, you've done, decent well, but if you were heavy, which some of my traders were, what you would have made a big profit. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that when there are opportunities that don't appear in the market, you need to be prepared. You need to be patient waiting for those opportunities, and you need to execute. You need to basically bring your bags of huge bags to carry all that money, all that profits that you will be able to take advantage of. All right, that's what I mean by that. Yeah, and then it says when it does go your way, yeah, pyramid the heck of the trade. Yes, that is one technique that I teach. Is you're not. I'm not saying at the bottom in the market where you just basically just go all in, right? You test it, right? You buy a little bit. Oh, hey, it's working. You buy more. Hey, it's working. Hey, you buy more. Hey, you buy more, right? Or this market's going down. You short a little bit. Oh, hey, it's going down. I'm making profits. Short a little bit more. Short a little bit more. Short a little bit more, right? And then you ride that trend down. So very, very safe, very, very risk controlled way to make money. All right, Casey says, like the idea of moving to the next level. Any tips in making the right preparation? So I kind of talked a little bit about this, and I'll add a little bit more. Um, like in terms of preparation, it's also just being in the right mindset. Like for example, again, not saying with any of you guys, is that if you don't have the mindset to look for that big trade, or you say to yourself, you have some self-limiting beliefs. I can't make $1 million. I can't make $100. I can't make any more profit in this market. Stuff like that, where you're basically creating already a barrier for yourself, saying that you can't do it. So if you think you can't do it, then you can't do it, right? I mean, it's simple as that. Your brain is kind of weird in a certain way. Is that if you think something, it's like something negative, of course it won't happen, right? If you say to yourself, I won't ever gain a lot of muscle, I won't be ever be able to be buff, stuff like that, or I won't be able to make money, I won't be able to do this, I'm a failure in life, etc. Well, you ask yourself, are you that? But if you think positively, and again, I'm not here to say any kumbaya with you guys, but just having a more positive mindset opens your brain to ideas, right? You're always constantly thinking, what's the next big idea, right? If you're constantly thinking, what's the next big idea? Is this the next big idea? That you start questioning, then your mind suddenly opens, right, to opportunities for you to search for those big opportunities. So that's also one aspect of you being open-minded, being positive, so then that way ideas flow through your head, right? The again, during the pandemic, lots of guys were emailing me, "Hey, is this the bottom?" Because they're asking the right questions. Is this the bottom? Then, right? They're asking what, and then they start asking what industry, what market will rebound the most, or which sector will rebound, right? So they started asking questions. Well, maybe probably not the cruise industry, maybe not the travel hospitality industry, right? Those would probably be impacted for a while. So what industries, right, can rebound, right? Anything with regards to people staying at home, right? So people again started asking those questions. Now, which industries will benefit most? Which industries, which specific industry do I need to focus on, right? People are going to be home, so anything to do with telecommunications and anything to do with like Netflix, staying at home, entertainment, those things, right? So you start asking questions, and then you start asking, well, which company will do better, right, in this industry, or in this environment, right? So those are the things, right? Those are what I mean by preparing, because you see something before your eyes, you start asking those questions, and then as you ask those questions, you either get more excited about the opportunity, which you think that might be that one big trade, or you don't, right? Then that's not the opportunity that you're looking for. All right, Richard says, how do you deal with continual losses in the market losing streak? All right, so I've been working with a few other students who basically been trying to buy in this downward market, right? And they're obviously incurring loss after loss. Simple thing, first thing of all, stop trading. Okay, stop trading, assess, take a step back, and ask yourself, why am I losing money? Well, you're against the trend, right? Or you're facing some mental challenges. You're not focused, right, on what's happening in the market, or something happening in your personal life. So best thing to do is take a step back from trading. Number two is, when you do get back into trading, start trading either with a paper trading account or play super small, right? Play super small, get your mojo back, right? Find out what's the reason why. For example, like I've had scenarios where students trade a certain style, and suddenly that style doesn't work in this market, right? Let's just say the market's going like this, and you're playing a trending style. Well, there's no trend, right? The trend's up and down. That's not your market. Stop trading. That's why you're losing, right? So many aspects, but most importantly, stop trading and focus on finding out what's the real reason why you are not successful, or why you're not making profits. And last thing is, yeah, you're welcome, Casey. All right, guys. Last thing of all is, my next week's live stream on Trading Psychology series is I'm going to share with you a, a trader who has lost $1 million. Okay, but the trader actually made $1 million. So I'm going to share with you his journey of making $1 million and then losing it all. And there's lots of valuable lessons in terms of how he made $1 million, and there's lots of even more valuable lessons of how he lost that $1 million. So make sure you guys join me on the live stream next week where I'm going to talk about the journey and hope you guys will enjoy that live stream. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for attending today's live stream, and I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great weekend, guys.